All right.
So,
So this is going to be a topic. I want to ask you a question pertaining to faith,
mhm.
right? Why do you feel like people who do not have faith in God, why do you think they're still able to acquire the same things that they desire without having God in the equation?
Yeah. Well,
I don't know if you understand my question. I said it.
no, you made sense. You're trying
Okay.
to say basically like how is it that, let's say God says He supplies all your needs according to His riches and glory for those who trust in Him.
Mm-hmm.
How is it that people that's not trusting Him got all the riches and glory?
Yes, yes.
Okay,
There you go.
okay. Yeah,
Yes.
come on, we've been together too long. You already know. You can be like, wah, 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 wah.
Shut up.
And I'll be like, yeah, I got it, babe.
Shut
But,
up.
but basically, especially for those that really have it, like the rich, they all still apply godly principles because the laws of the land are irrevocable. This is what makes God a righteous God because God does not break law, especially laws of man. He created the laws of man, He doesn't allow them to be broken. So even if you're operating, they're still having faith. They may not have it in God, they have it in themselves, they have it in their abilities. But the reality of it is that they apply the principles of God without using God.
They're just replacing God with the
With
universe,
the universe, with
replacing God with
themselves, they're
themselves.
yeah, no me. And these are
Yeah.
the things that make
Mm-hmm.
this is what makes it enticing for people to go that route. They acquire it with the same system. Faith in the Bible is exactly where they took the secret from.
Yeah,
You
which
know,
I read The Secret
yeah.
too when I was younger.
Hmm.
I read The Secret and I applied all of those principles and everything.
Yeah.
I manifested everything.
Yeah.
But I do
Me too.
realize now in hindsight that it quotes the Bible.
It's
It's
all
inspired by
it's
the
the
Bible,
same
it's
thing.
scripture
Yeah.
and everything. And now in
Yeah.
hindsight, I'm like, wow, I was reading this book and was able to read this whole book. They
Hmm.
reference the Bible, but I never thought to open up the Bible or read the
Right.
Bible, right?
What they do is they market the Bible to non-believers. They took the
Mm.
principles of the Bible, replaced God with the universe, replaced
God
faith,
with yourself.
yeah, with yourself, replaced faith. Well, not so much because they actually place a higher power in the book, what they just call it the universe, which is,
Yeah.
which takes away the personal relationship between you and God and makes it about your ability to contact whatever you want to contact and do whatever you want to do through your faith, which is godly principles. But they marketed it in a way that it can be sold. They broke it down to a minuscule where it can be obtained and it can be understood easily. Because I also read The Secret. Now, the thing about me is that I read The Secret. I was reading it alongside the Bible. This was years ago. But what I recognized is that it gave me like like it was like Bible for dummies. As I started reading it, I started, because I was already in the Bible, only because I was in the Bible did I understand that this was the same thing, but it
Mm.
just answered questions that the Bible leaves uh, to Holy Spirit to interpret for you.
Yes,
That's what
yes,
happened.
yes,
So,
yes.
you know what I mean? Because I used it up a storm. When I say I used those principles, but I
You
had to.
said even to get parking spots,
I'm talking
right?
about I
You
would
will
drive
manifest
from
park.
way out here at the time when I was living out here in PA. I drove all the way from PA to New York to my mother to the Bronx in the middle of the night, knowing there ain't no parking, but I'm visualizing the parking spot the whole way there. I pull up and as soon as I get there, it's either a wide open spot or somebody's pulling out. It happened every time. You know what I mean? But this was all faith. This is the kind of faith. This is what Christ mean when he said the size of a mustard seed. You can move a mountain. I was moving cars with a mustard seed of faith. So it's the same godly principles. This is what they use. They use godly principles that God won't revoke from them even without him getting the glory because the laws of the land are the laws of the land. Once I learned that and I realized that it was pretty much the same thing, I never used universe. I still use God. I didn't know. I never went
Me
to the,
neither.
yeah. I
I
never used the
never.
universe because I'm like, all right, this is. I could never subscribe to asking the created to give me something as if it's the creator.
Yes.
I can't worship the creator instead of the created. Like, the universe was made by God. I just can't.
You mean
That's
you can't um
worship
worship the created
I said
versus
creator.
you said it the
Oh,
opposite.
you
That's
see
what
how I
you,
said that one when you picked up? This
yeah,
you really got some
that's
more.
what you mean.
But yeah, yeah,
Yeah, for me, I feel like, okay, so when I read this secret, I was manifesting so much um through my faith in myself, actually, because it's not necessarily the book. I just believed in myself that much
yeah,
from reading the book. And every time that I accomplished something, I didn't realize in hindsight that I was building up pride and I was
yeah.
exalting myself. And this is
Hmm.
how these things happen, where pride creeps in and you think that you were able to do this
Yeah,
by yourself, by
yeah. It
your
starts
own.
to feel like a superpower.
And that's
Yeah,
what my life pretty much.
that's what you talking. This is how. This is why the rich and the elite think that they are gods, and because they operating lawfully, they're operating of the law in the laws of the land. God does not break law. He does not revoke the law, no matter who's operating in them. But if He doesn't get the glory, you're going to get you're going to be led to damnation
Mhm.
on earth and in the second life. So, I mean, this is why they all end up. Look at this is why Diddy's in the position he's in. Diddy's position is pretty much just a humbling experience that
Mhm.
God has given him. You know me
And
that
God free will. Jesus
yeah,
already said that your reward is stored up on earth. Whatever you got on earth that you
exactly. Yeah.
worshiped and that you believed in, you got your reward on
Hmm.
earth already. But
Yeah.
we're seeking the reward in the afterlife on earth as well as
Yeah,
in
and
heaven.
we can speak on, and don't get me wrong, because not to make it seem like because a big misconception is that because of things like this topic is that this life is not for believers. This life is just to you. We're just meant to suffer, and get comfortable
Absolutely not.
suffering, get comfortable being the have-nots, and
Absolutely not.
on this earth, so that and only expect a good life after life.
Yeah.
You
No,
understand?
that's
That's not the
absolutely
case.
false. If you open the Bible, though, it has all
Yeah.
the stories. Job, who was a righteous man, he
Uh-huh.
was rich.
Yeah.
Abraham,
Solomon.
Solomon. There's
Yeah,
so
it's
many.
many.
Esther. Esther
Mm-hmm.
became the queen.
Yeah.
So there's so many people in the Bible that had wealth, that were righteous people, that
Mm-hmm.
had their faith in God, though. That's
Right.
the
This is
difference.
it said he says, seek first the kingdom. Seek me first, and I will get, and all these things will
All
be
these
given to
things
all
will be
these
added.
things.
Yes.
Seek me first, and all these things. Now these people seek those and miss the big prize. You understand? They seek things first, and this is their heaven. This is their heaven. Like this,
Yeah.
I don't want this. I want my slice of heaven on earth. You understand? But I don't want this. I don't want to trade. I would never trade heaven for earth.
Yeah.
So a prime example of just operating in faith to receive our portion on earth is this house. This house we living in right now, this was all faith. Now at the time, my wife, she was condo crazy. You know what I mean? She was condo crazy. She's like, why we can't live like ghosts in them? Like, I want to get out the elevator and boom, be in the house. She wanted to have
Yeah.
a view. She was, know me,
Yeah,
but
I love condos
she's
and
a condo
penthouse.
girl.
Now having a child, I couldn't imagine it,
Yeah.
but then I was thinking penthouse.
Hmm. You know me, which was cool, but me, I had house on the mind. I had house. I know I already had kids. I knew we was going to have kids of our own as well, and
And
I
you literally prayed on it and it
yeah,
manifested like
yeah, and
2 days later.
yeah, it was
We
like
had the
I
opportunity.
visualized kids playing in the backyard. I visualized cutting my grass. I visualized not having neighbors or on the other side of your wall. So these are the things that I thought of on a daily basis that basically are forms of faith. Visualization is a form of faith. That's the number one thing. If you look in the secret, they say it's called speaking it into existence, seeing it into existence. These are all the principles that they use that break down how to operate in faith the way God intended you to. What is
Um,
something that from you that you operated on faith on in faith?
faith in God.
Yeah.
Yeah, my son, having my
Hmm.
son Braxton. Um, I feel like the first few years of trying, I was having faith in myself and trusting in my body as a woman to be able to conceive. And I feel like I was playing God over that situation, trusting that I'm a woman, I'm made to have children, so it is going to happen. And when I finally realized that it wasn't happening naturally after, like the miscarriages and things like that, at that time, I don't know if you know, we had the finances to be able to do,
Well, I mean, I know.
we had the finances at that time to be able to go to the route of, and this is the thing, there's a fine line, there's faith and there's a testing right there. I feel like with God, where God
Yes. Oh, yes.
tests
He will
and the
test your
devil
faith.
tempts.
Yeah, the devil
God will
tempts and
never
Christ tests.
Yes, God will always test you, but the devil will always tempt you. So now, being that I saw that it wasn't happening naturally, and I don't have nothing against anyone that does IVF. I'm no one to judge, but being that we were at the place where we had the finances, the most finances we had at that time disposable for us to go do that, I feel like I was right there.
Yeah, it was a crossroad.
I was right there at a crossroad where I was like, okay, if I choose to do it this way, that's me going above God. I was already feeling convicted in that area
before we even went that route. Yep.
And I was like, okay,
before we even thought of it,
this feels like this is the easier way to do it. I have the money. It makes the most sense. Let's go that route. And then I also realized it was a test too from God. Like, where's your faith? Let me see what faith you're going to have. Are you going to have faith in man, or are you going to have faith in me?
That's a perfect thing, because that's a lot. That's what stops a lot of people from receiving what they were believing for. You passed the test where you did not fall for that temptation.
Yeah. So I didn't want to go outside of God for that. And I just remember opening up my Bible, going to Hannah's prayer, because there's so many women of the Bible that have this story of trying to get pregnant and barrenness and things like that. So I remember going in the Bible, reading the story of Hannah. So relatable for me, so relatable for me. And I went in the bathroom. I remember crying out. I said, I'm not God. I'm going to pray to you on this. I do not want to go the other route. I do not want to seek other ways of having this child. I want you to bless me with this child. If it's not your will for me to have a child, then so be it. But I'm not doing anything else. For 5 years, I believed in myself. I believed in my body. I believed I had faith in everything else to work but you. So this time, I'm not doing it anymore. I'm going to trust in you. And if it's not your will, I'm going to accept that and continue with my life. And
lo and behold, I remember when you made that decision. Thankfully to God, that's another thing that we were in alignment on. Immediately, we both never even entertained outsourcing us having a child to anything else, not surrogacy, not.
And we don't have nothing against
nothing against
anyone.
it. This is just our journey. God is sovereign over all. Let's not act like God is not sovereign over everything. So if God does lead or has led anybody to IVF or to other forms of becoming pregnant and conceiving, that is between you and God. We don't have anything against it, but for us, it was a underlying understanding that we was not going to overthrow God in that area. We were led to believe that that's going outside of Him. But when you made that decision, I saw the change, because this was a difficult 5 years for us. Losing children, losing babies, month to month, whenever that, her menstrual came, it was another devastation at 30.
I just saw some old pregnancy tests, because I used to take them all the time. I just saw an old one, and like tears was coming to my eyes. Like I started crying, but it was from a place of being grateful to God. But yeah, we had it was rough. It was rough.
But I saw the change. I saw this is when He says, come ye to me, all who are heavy laden, and I will give you rest. Where He says, place His burdens on you, because I saw with my own eyes. I'm, even though this is my journey as her spouse too, because it's my child and it's our life together. I could never be a woman. I had, and I also have children prior to us being together. I could never understand what it feels like from a woman's perspective to, be created to do a thing that you don't seem to be able to do. And the devastation, I can only see it from a outside perspective, but it was devastating to watch her heart be broken every 30 days. Every 30 days, to watch your wife be heartbroken and you can't do anything about it. The only thing you can do about it is pray. Like I couldn't do anything else but pray and console her. But what I saw is a burden lift, because when she let that go, there were no more heartbreaks every 30 days. You understand? She relieved herself of a burden that she was carrying, that who knows what level that stress had on us losing children. You'll never be able to determine what that is, but these are the reasons why God says, give your burdens to me. We carry things that we're not meant to carry, and they cause problems that we're not meant to have. You understand what I'm saying? Because we're putting too much on ourselves, and we have a God sitting there right there that says, give this to me. I'm stronger than you. You understand? I can see further than you. I understand how this is not going to be anything to me when it's everything to you. So this weight. So I saw her relax. I seen a relaxation. It was like that's all he was waiting on. That burden was lifted. He said, okay, now let me show you what I can do. You finally gave it to me to be God. And now I'm going to show you the difference between you being God over a situation and me being God over your situation. And just like that.
And I mean, from that point forward, I was just like, it's all me and God. It's all me and God, every situation. And He came through and exceeded my expectations. He even answered prayers that I didn't even pray to Him years ago. So, um, it just helped me increase my faith. I think a lot of times we get to that we get to that point where there's desperation and we eagerly, just like with our children, we're
Mm-hmm.
parents too. If we can't do something for our child,
Immediately,
we're
we're gonna
immediately
break our
gonna
back
break
trying
our
to
back.
figure out what. Yeah.
Yeah, and
Mm-hmm.
that's the same thing. We do it to ourselves though, but we have a father
Mm-hmm.
that can give us everything that we want,
And
every
wants to.
and wants to do
Yeah,
it for
just like we
us.
want to do for ours. Yeah.
And I feel like a lot of times we get to the place of despair and the devil comes in and tempts, and God uses the temptation as
As a
a
test.
test.
Yeah.
So a lot of times when you get to that point and you give into temptation, you have no idea
Yeah. How
what
you
you
reset
missed,
yourself.
what you reset and what you missed out on, because you could have been praying to God for, I mean, praying for a car, and now some way or another you make the money happen for you, and you like, I did this, I worked a double, I was able to get
Mm-hmm.
this car, and God had a car, a house,
Yeah.
and everything else added to it. But because you got to that point where temptation took over because you just want it right now, you miss out on the blessing. So I think it's very important to put your faith in God and not in man and not in yourself and not in your job and not in
Yeah.
any of those things, but to put your faith in God. I feel like there's nothing more fulfilling for me
Mm-hmm.
than the faith I have in God and the relationship that came out of it, that
Right.
has filled
Yeah.
me up with so much joy and peace.
Right. Because we with faith with allowing God to be God over our situations did for us was it built our trust in his abilities over our own, because when we only trust in ourselves, this is why people become self-centered, and it's not on purpose, but it's because they've been relying on themselves from childhood. They didn't have a parent that I know me. I was out there in the streets because my mother ain't have it. So I had to get it how I live. I had to get it on my own, and how I think and how I thought and what I did became my way out of everything. I had to think my way out of situations on my own. I didn't go to him for guidance. I had to figure it out on my own, and that only goes but so far. I was able to get the things I had to get on my own through my own hard work and painful toil, which Christ said these things come without painful toil when you allow him to do it for you. But What was I supposed to do if I kept that mentality when I couldn't give my wife a baby? There's ceilings. There's always ceilings there that that uh that God will let everyone hit. This is listen, Diddy right now. I'm saying that's why I keep using Diddy. What was he going to do? Did he reach that ceiling where you couldn't continue to do what you want to do without some form of consequence, even if his consequence was just embarrassment? You know, just the consequence of being, even if he's coming home, he's not going to jail. He's in jail now, and his consequence was just being humbled. I had to learn that um I had to trust God. I got to a place where I couldn't do nothing except trust God in that situation. Another example before we go is, I had a child, my first child, and I had to. It was like a automatic faith. They had to kick in that I can raise him by myself, like because his mother was gone before he was a few days old. I didn't have nothing but God and whatever He put in me to even stay, mentally strong enough to sustain my sanity as a first time parent to be able to raise a child. My son is 17 right now. I think I had to believe God that I can give him a righteous mother. You understand? My son does not miss out on what I thought he would miss out on. You understand? I had to have faith that I would find the right person who will give him everything that he deserves as a child from a mother. And that don't mean so. These are all forms of faith that there's no logic and there's no self self gratification that can get you. This is all God. God has to align these things for you. So that's basically what the difference is. That you can manifest as much as you want on your own, but eventually you're going to hit a ceiling, and God is going to place you in the area where you are tempted by the devil, and that temptation is going to be a test from God, and He's going to allow you your free will to decide who you want to be God over your life. Do you want to be God over your own life, or do you want God to show you why He's God? All of my children have a stable family environment. You understand what I'm saying? That from a man whose introduction to parenthood was alone. I have what I believed God for that I could not go out and get on my own.
And we continue to have
Still.
what we believe God for, plus more added to it, and it comes with peace.
Mm-hmm.
There is a peace
and not painful
that
to it.
comes with trusting God that doesn't come with acquiring whatever you want on your own. Because there are so many people that have acquired things on their own and they kill themselves, or they're single, or they act like they're happy.
Yeah,
on the
they're
outside,
miserable.
but they're miserable.
Yeah, they're miserable because they really sick of relying on themselves.
Yeah.
The minute you talk to them, they're giving you a spew about how hard they had it and they had to get it out the mud, and they can't nobody tell me nothing because that's not peace. Now, don't get me wrong, all of those attributes of a person to the desire to go and get it, they can be transferred. You just have to, when God is behind you, you understand, imagine the boost you're going to have when you already have that mindset to go out and get it, and you have a director directing you where to go to get it, and how to get it, where not to go. You understand what I'm saying? When you allow God to be God over your situation, over your life in general, we say God is the CEO of our lives. You understand what I'm saying? We the president, vice president, we run the operations, but listen, everything, He guides everything, every single step we make.
What took me 5 years to accomplish getting pregnant. Had I known, if I would have went to God from the first place and had faith in Him, I could have got pregnant within the first year just from that faith.
Yeah, we'd be 2-3 braxes in by now.
So we love you guys. Have faith in God. Put your faith in God, not in man.
Try it. That's my thing. Just try it and see what happens. That's the number one thing I want to say. I know it seems so hard because it looks so easy for everybody who just doing it by themselves, but just try God. Just try Him.
It's going to be worth it. I promise you. It's going to be worth it trying God. I promise you. You will not be disappointed.
Amen.
And we're talking from experience.
Experience.
Yes.
All right.
Love you guys.
Peace out.
Next video.